My you know what pen you can buy a share of 60,000 naira. Come for a program of 10,000 or buy a book of 5,000. Be blowing grammar, and that is why we are not able to produce anything. Now, 5 P's of becoming a disruptor. Let's run this fast. Number 1 is to define the norm. Very important. 5 P's. First is to define. Number 2 is determination. Like I said before, if you are not determined, you are going nowhere. When determination is predominant, failure cannot dismantle the flag of success. No way. Because you pull it through. Number 3 is to define your path. What are you known for? Many of us we suffer from what I call identity crisis. If I ask you to do what are you known for, you don't know. What do you want to do with your life, you don't know. Today they are doing pure water, you join them. Tomorrow is the credit, you join them. Next tomorrow they are doing Uber, you join them. Next tomorrow you are just this identity crisis. You don't know where you are. Stay, just hold that thing. It might not look popular yet, but you might be the pioneer of that path. Just be there and persist. Number 4 is to develop under the LSD set that I call it. I call it mindset, value set, and skill set. Develop your mind. Somebody said, empty your pocket today to fill your mind. You know why? Because someday your mind will fill your pocket. Simple principle. Empty your pocket today to fill your mind. The mind is very powerful. What we are saying in that context is education. And lastly, deliver excellence. That makes you a disruptor. Now, these are all global disruptors. Now, before I round up, we need to set a goal. I don't want you to just come, we speak good English, we are all clapping, but we are not taking anything home. So in 2026, I want to help us to set our goals. So if you have a Bible and a pen, let us do that quickly. How do I have a roadmap? Very smart roadmap. Simple, measurable, achievable, result-oriented, and time-bound. Number 1, so you are going to answer the following questions. The first question is, what do you want to achieve in 2026? Be specific. You are not going to do it here, you are going to take it home. But be specific about it. Please don't make it generic. Don't make it superfluous. In other words, I just have 10 things. Oh, I have too many ideas. I'll not do 20. Just do one. Am I making sense? Just write one. Number 2, why do I want to do it? It's very important. You must know your rationale and motive. Because if your rationale and motive is very skewed, you are going nowhere. What do I mean by that? If your rationale is that, so I can be buy a car, so that I can know I'm alive, I can assure you that you are going nowhere. Your rationale should be much more about material things, much more than that. Materialism will come after you have made impact. Am I making sense? 3 is, how do you intend to achieve it? Your plans and strategy. How? So you don't stop at why. How do you intend to write them down? How? Who am I going to talk to? How? Okay, this. And you put timelines, which is the next. Number 4. When do you hope to achieve it or to achieve those your goals? When? Because if you don't put timelines, you're just going to procrastinate. Procrastination will beat everything up. If I just see 100,000, I will just start my YouTube channel. 100,000 will come, you buy the phone. Okay, this one, don't worry. If I say 500,000, you know that the best fashion designer in Suleja, 500,000 will come. That's when you remember that you have not bought shoes. Because your priorities are upside down. So, it's for you to know when you put timeline, you know that I must do this thing within this period. Number 5, where do you want to achieve it? Location and platform. Where is very important. If you know that you are a content creator, that it's not all platforms that are meant for you. If you are a career person, you know that you are supposed to be sleeping on LinkedIn, not on Twitter. So those things are very important. And lastly, who do you need to achieve it? Somebody said many times, who you know is superior to what you know. Because you can know it, if you don't have the right set of people around you, it's going to be futility. So who do you need to achieve it? A set of team, set of persons, partners, mentors, and the rest of them. I think with these questions, if they are serious, writing them on your wall and see them every day, you should be making something out of 2026. And I hope to see some of us after now to evaluate how far you have gone with that. As I round off, I have a very parting note to give to us, and you are going to pick a partner for that. So pick somebody, put the person's hands as we stand up. Have a party here, everybody. Talk to your neighbor and say Happy New Year. It's not convincing enough. Tell the neighbor and say Happy New Year. It's good to see you again. And do have a very prosperous 2026. Now this morning first let me appreciate the organizers of events like this. Please let's clap for them. Let's clap for them. We can do better than that. It's not easy to put up something like this. Please. And why did I say we should appreciate them? It's because over the years we are beginning to lose ourselves as a people. Nigerians over time are not interested in conferences anymore. Some certain things seem to have overtaken our desires. And you wonder why we are like this as a people. So some certain things are fundamental that gave me the joy that the organizers of this event are still looking at. That we must talk to ourselves every year so that we don't come together and do the usual Happy New Year. We have 1001 resolutions. By December, none of those resolutions are accomplished. In fact, many of us, every resolution that we made, we preached them just less than 24 hours for that time in which we profess them. That's to show us how we are not serious-minded about them. So having a program like this is just to remind us of the importance of not running every year just casually. Because as you run it casually, a percentage, a part of your life is also going, along the way. So this morning I've been told to speak on the disruption code. Don't wait for change, precipitate it. Let's say it again. The disruption code. Don't wait for change, precipitate it. Fantastic topic. But before we start, I would like us to know the outlines that we are going to be speaking on this morning. Okay, who is that man? I don't even know him. Let's move on, please. Yes, let's move on, please. Yes, let's go. Yes, let's wait. Now we are going to be discussing on 7 key areas. Number 1, we are discussing understanding disruption. Secondly, we are going to be discussing pseudo-disruption definitions. Thirdly, the disruption cycle. Fourthly, the disruption code in itself. Number 5, becoming a disruptor. Number 6, global disruptors. Number 7, my parting notes. To the next slide. What are we doing in this place? It's important that we lay the foundation of what we are doing in this place. First is we need to know why we are doing what we are doing. First is to reveal our current realities. That's the first thing. You will notice a man that is only to fix something. There is a goal. But first we must acknowledge where we are coming from before we can know where we are going to. Then after that, in getting to where we are, what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to cause a paradigm shift. You cannot talk about disruption if you have not changed the lens of what you are currently saying. It's very important to do that. Then lastly, what is our expected result or outcomes is to become a disruptor, to precipitate change, to make significant impact. So at the end of this session, it is believed that those 3 things will be achieved or is expected to be achieved. Now, on my own slide, I didn't put it on this slide. I want us to talk about our current realities, because if you don't discuss our current realities, we will not be able to make justice to where we are going. Number 1 is our low reading culture. That is where we are. That is why we have limited innovators amongst us. Nobody is thinking any longer. So that is why you see that in a society like this, there are many missing links. Gone are the days where we celebrate people. When I was growing up, it was almost an aberration for everyone to want to go to school. It was almost like it's a crime in Lagos. I grew up in Lagos. And for those that are from that part of the world, you know that education is like a 40 for an average Yoruba person. So it's like a crime growing up. Go to Lagos today, secondary school are your boys. Everybody's looking for fast money. Everyone wants to ride that jeep for 25 million. Someone that is barely 16 years old is thinking of buying a car of 30 million. What does that tell you? Fundamentally, something is wrong with that construct. And that's why we're having this forum this afternoon. Number 2 is low critical thinking. That is our current state. The social media is what we call a social experiment. If you use the social media very well, you can understand how low we have become in critical thinking. Somebody can bring up a topic, by the time people are commenting, you're wondering what is the correlation between the comments and the initial post. Low critical thinking. I can give you an example. Do you know that most people that have commented on the current tax law have not read those laws? Am I making sense? So the media, consciously and unconsciously, has made superstars of many non-entities. My apologies for that word. So there are people that you see that they come as if they know much, but it's the media that amplified their ignorance, and that is how they are sunk as a people. So critical thinking is very low. So people can come up with a subject. You can ask somebody, have you read it? Many years ago, somebody told me, so person, the judgment of the court was wrong. And the first thing I asked, have you seen the judgment? The guy said no. But I just believe that it was wrong. How do you know something was wrong and you have not read the document? People don't want to read. They don't want to question the status quo. Nobody wants to just follow the bandwagon. That is where we are at the moment. Number 3, complaints and lamentation. That become a national badge. It can become a national badge. You meet an angry person today. What is happening? Just I don't tire. This the whole thing is just mess up. You are just complaining. Everybody is just lamenting. Whereas in the midst of those chaos, there are people that are seeing opportunities. The difference between you and them is your lens, and that's what we want to check this out. You want to shift that lens. You have fixated your mind too much on the problems. Guess what? When you have those problems, lies those solutions. And that's what makes the multi-millionaires that you read about globally. The difference is that your lens and your construct is fixated to lamentation, and you now have what we call pity party. There are people that you guys are from association unconsciously. By January we have started. This year, I don't know how it's going to be. Don't even scatter, my brother. You need to change those associations. Why? Because obviously one might not go anywhere with them. Number 4, pessimism and gloominess. They are just pessimistic about everything. Somebody said optimism sees opportunity in every problem. Guess what? A pessimist sees problem in every opportunity. It's an opportunity here. He sees problem. You know why? He's going to still critique it. Somebody said we have a program like this. I beg you. You know the character is big grammar, and that will watch up. You will find a fault. It's a construct that must be dropped today. If not, we are not going to make progress. Number 5, blame game disposition. You never take responsibility for anything. J.C. Maxwell said, you can never make anything in your life if you conveniently blame everybody for your woes except yourself. Somebody said, look at the man in the mirror. T.D. Jakes said, every day I pray to God, Father, save the man in the mirror, because the greatest enemy of man is man himself. If you can help yourself, believe in 50% of your problems are solved. Why? Because those imaginary enemies that you think are your problems, they might probably not be your problem. Many of us think that people are responsible for why we are irresponsible, because we have failed to look at the man in the mirror. So this is what this program is trying to do, that from today onwards, before you blame anyone else, look at that man in the mirror. You realize that 60% of the problem is caused by yourself. But you never had that disposition. Why? Because you have been constructed, or you have been told to believe that every of the problems come from within your environment. Number 6, low morale and inaction. The morale is very low. Very low. From the countenances you can see it. The morale is low. That means you don't want to do anything. So you think you have a justification for not doing anything. Why are you not going to school? Graduates never gave up now. I'd rather leave. Make I just get the money now. Make I show them, say I don't arrive. That is how far you have come. So delayed gratification is not a thing anymore. Everybody wants instant societal validation. Big man is in my right. That's why the oppressive spirit is an average Nigerian. You are always eager to post online. I tell people, the people that are giving you a foundation online, if you see them in real life, there are many times you are better than them. I'm telling you the truth. Somebody is in Akure in one room, struggling. But because he has probably 100 MB data and a small phone, he will just look for something, do something, just razzmatazz online. And somebody that has master's degree is having depression, also that has not even gone to primary school. I'm telling you the truth. That is also the sad part of the advent of social media. Number 7, head mentality. The head mentality. Everybody just go in one direction. Nobody, in fact, if you say the other way, people think as if you are running mad. Somebody was talking to me 2 years ago. He said, well, what are you still doing in this country? They need you globally. I said, okay, can you tell me what I'm going to do in the country you are telling me to go to? No answer. But everybody is going now. Okay, I agree. But can you tell me what I will be going to do there? No response. Until I told the person that as at 2014, I've been to more than 18 countries. I was like, oh, I said, because some of us have purpose in life. As at 2014, 18 countries, and I was much younger. Why? Because I knew what I wanted for my life. I knew I wanted to work for big institutional organizations where they would take me around the world, and I've never paid for my flight. They pay for it because there's a value you are bringing to the table. Just make up one money, you are just leaving. To do what you don't know. I was in a country, a small country behind Germany, just beside Germany, we call it Austria. And I saw many Nigerians wasting away. Many. So don't be moved. Many. Recently I was in Dubai. You see what Nigerians are doing in Dubai. There is a room where they have this restaurant. 14, 15 people sleep in one of their store. And they will be snapping picture, wearing polar hats. You are having depression. Many of you earn probably 2 million money. And someone that is struggling to fit his life abroad, you are having depression. You know why? Head mentality. You need to define your purpose. Number 8, mediocrity as a national badge. Mediocrity. Everything is done substandard. When I was preparing for this program, by default, I was talking to a mentee, and he said, "Sir, are you ready with your PowerPoint?" I said, "Definitely." I can't say because I don't even know where Pastor Domino is taking me to, and the next day just write on a sheet of paper, put it in my pocket, yeah, come, we'll be talking. No, you do it appropriately. As if I'm going to talk to international. Well, you guys are international people too, by the way. You can clap for yourself. That is the way it is. Every assignment given to you, do it well. We should not take mediocrity as a national badge, and that's how we have become. They give somebody an assignment, you just do it sharply. At work, you are looking for promotion, but you know deep down that you have not been that super as a staff. You know. We need to check that. Number, am I making sense? Somebody sang the song many years ago. He said, I entire don't make sense. You know why I said that? Because those that are singing rubbish are the ones that are blowing. Just show one, shake it. But you are not going to sing values, morals. Nobody is listening to you. Let me join them. And that is how we have become. Validation, instant. They must talk about me too. I must be trending. What can I do? What can I do? You see a woman married, you carry your breast and come online, and you are trying to just do nonsensical things because you just want to trend. And guess what? There are over 2 million people too that are like you, that view it. And they make you a superstar. Tell your neighbor we can do better. That is our current reality. Now to the perspective, this is now where we are. Now let us change. I want us to change the lens before you become a disruptor. You can't be a disruptor when the shift, and there are 2 types of things we need to do. First is to have a paradigm shift, and it's also to shift your sheep. 2 things: shift and shift. Now, what are the shifts? Leadership, intention, mentorship, and leadership. Let me tell you a story so that we can discuss this perspective. There's a story of two salesmen. It's metaphorical, right? They sent them to, they are salesmen for a company that makes shoes. So they sent them to one part of Africa, Sahara part, where people don't wear shoes yet. Two managers. So when they got there, the first manager, when they got there, was irritated. So his perception straight was that how come in 21st century people don't wear shoes yet? He couldn't imagine that. So he called them at the headquarters and told them that please, I'm coming back to the headquarters. This country is nonsensical. There's nothing they are doing. Imagine that these 8 people are not wearing shoes. First manager. Guess what the second manager did? Immediately he saw them, the guy saw opportunity. Just told them, say, let us come and start a shoe factory in this place. Why? Because they are not wearing shoes yet. Two individuals, two different perspectives. One saw problem, the other saw what? Opportunity. So you cannot be a disruptor if your lens is faulty. And that's why I started with our current realities. So the first thing we need to do is to shift that lens. That going forward, you are becoming an optimist. Everything you see around you, you begin to question it to ensure that you can make the best of it. Next slide. Let us define destruction. The foundation has been laid. So what's destruction? Number one, radical change. To disrupt, to cause a radical change. This is how they have been doing it. And you came up with an idea and there is a radical change. 360. Number two, interruption of status quo. You interrupt the status quo. What is status quo? This is how we have been doing it. When the laptop, when the desktop and the internet came many years ago, many people in the civil service struggle to accept it. Why? Because they are used to filing. Just carry their file. They are used to go. We need to destroy that status quo. Number three, suspensions of laws, practices and principles. That is disruption. You suspend laws, practices, and principles, and I'll give you an example in the next slide. Number four, challenging conventions, norms, and routines. Challenging routines. Why is this always like this? Why can't you do it differently? You begin to think differently. Number five is introduction of a new order. That's what we do. That's disruption. Inventions, innovations, and narration. Now, the next slide talks about the 3 classical examples of disruption that explains that definition. Number one is Jesus. Now, Jesus introduced the supernatural, and I will explain that. What that is suspension of laws. There is a natural laws that we live by, yes or no? Jesus came and he suspended some of the natural laws. Number one, turning water to wine. That is something that if you take a chemical process for you to do that, right? Fermentation procedure and the rest of them. Somebody came in less than 5 minutes and he turned water to wine. That is suspension of natural laws. That is disruption. Number two, Jesus fed 5,000 people with 5 loaves of bread. Is that possible? With natural common sense, is it possible? Imagine me coming to this place and I just raise this thing and there's a multiplication of bread. Many of you run away. Am I making sense? He suspended human thinking. Jesus did that. Number three, he walked on water. Archimedes' principle was dismantled by Jesus. Science students understand what I mean. Law of buoyancy. By natural design, you cannot walk on water, but you are going to sink, right? But Jesus did. That is disruption. And that's why the disciples were wondering, this man is obviously not part of them. Number two, the Sir George Kelly. That is the man that discovered the law of aerodynamics. Before now, the superior law we had was the law of gravity. In other words, anything that goes up or must come down. And somebody came and said, no, there should be a superior law that anything that goes up, no matter the size, will suspend and will float. And that is the law of aerodynamics. Somebody discovered that. He disrupted, and since then, that was why the Wright brothers made aeroplanes. Because the laws must be changed before innovation started coming. Am I making sense? Number three, for those that like football, is Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola implemented the tiki-taka principle or philosophy. There's a certain way in which football was initially played. You know what I mean? the keeper, they can throw it, everybody does, and somebody came and believe, let us build up. Let us have possession of the ball. He didn't start it, but he fully believed in it and he implemented it. Today, you can see the winning ratio of that principle, of that philosophy, and that is disruption. So, office politics, that's a certain thing somebody will come and tell you, thinking is for the good of the office, or noting that they are recruiting you for a common enemy in the office. You have to use your common sense. So it's not all instigation that you should follow through. That man, I like him. He's a comrade. Not all comrades have genuine intentions. Some people are recruiting rebels for their own personal agenda. Am I making sense? The next slide. So what is disruption cycle? Because in every disruption there is a cycle. Number one is questioning. You cannot disrupt what you have not questioned. To question it, if you want to disrupt it, question it. Why is this thing like this? Why is it that we must sit like this in class? And if there's no maybe intellectual response, you can begin to think of a better way of doing it. That's the strategy comes in. Why do we have to do this? Questions are very, very important. In fact, they are the basis of intellectualism. But we don't question these days. You question rightly. Why do we need to do this? Because your intentions and your motives are right. You want to be sure that there are better ways in which you can do this thing. That's number one. Number two is conviction. You must be convinced about what you are preaching. If you are telling us that we do not need to sit like this, you must have planned well and you must be convinced in case of any rejection or any pushback. You are standing on the ground saying, no, this thing, this is how I think it must be done. And over time, you begin to see that, okay, truly, that is what he's saying. There are many times they wanted to convince Pep Guardiola that this your style is not working. When he got to England, the first season, he came 10th on the table, and the pundits were already saying that I told you people it's not going to work. And when they interviewed him, he stuck to it. That is conviction. It's going to work. That I failed once doesn't mean it's not going to work again. Many of you push for things you chicken out because of simple criticism. I have this idea that in Mandala we are going to be doing a conference to take all the boys off the street. You now do it once, you saw 2 boys, you say, this thing is not going to work. You have not started. You do it again.